Thanks for joining us. I'm Erin Cox, joined by Davina Powell, and we're from Ingram Content Group's consumer marketing team. We're going to talk to you about what's going on with digital marketing, what you can do in both the free and paid spaces, and how you can use our tool, Ingram ID, to advertise for less money to more people. So what's going on with digital marketing? First of all, there are a lot of platforms to place ads. Consumers are bombarded by ads everywhere they go, whether it's online or not. So-called walled gardens, by that we mean Apple's App Store, Google's Play Store, are being created. When it comes to privacy, there are regulatory issues, privacy rules and lawsuits, cookie tracking and consent requirements, all of which means targeting can be more and more uncertain in the wake of many of these changes. And all of this continues to evolve in real time as technology evolves and macroeconomic and political forces change too. You know what? It's a lot. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you're not alone. In a recent HubSpot survey, 80% of marketers agree that marketing has changed more in the past 3 years than in the past 50. And if that isn't enough, book discovery by the consumer is evolving. The digital life cycle has more and different touch points to consider. Your marketing needs to be more diverse as well, finding the consumers where they are in the journey. Don't worry, that's not where this video ends. We're going to walk you through what's happening on a macro level, and then we'll get into some best practices for both free and paid digital marketing, as well as a demo of Ingram's own advertising platform that will help you navigate the world of paid digital marketing. So here's 3 things to keep in mind when marketing. First, recognize it's taking longer these days. Remember that slide on book discovery evolving? Lots of additional touch points mean longer sales cycles and more interactions, which brings us to the second point. Think about exposure across multiple channels. And I don't mean building an account on every social platform and running stuff, because those platforms, they might not make sense for the types of books you're marketing. Do you publish business books? Then you should consider LinkedIn. What about historical fiction? You know what? LinkedIn is probably not the best use of your time and resources. And finally, your marketing isn't going to work if you aren't giving the reader something they want the way they want it. That means meeting them where they are, respecting that space, and above all, providing them something they will value. Going back to that historical fiction book, what about sharing some of the research that went into writing the book? For the business title, maybe it's a high-level takeaway from one of the case studies in it. These recommendations don't mean you need to pay for everything or spend all your time creating new content. Start with base content. Alex Catoni with Copy Posse calls this seed content, which is a perfect descriptor of what you're doing. Grow from there. This is one way you could approach seed content. Start with writing it for your email list, then rework it for your blog. What does that mean? Think about how the voice you use for an email is probably not what you want on your blog. You don't need to rewrite the email entirely, but knowing your platform means knowing what works for its unique audience. Now you can consider taking the major points of the original content and turning them into a carousel on social, and then breaking those up into single graphics. And last, what about using some of those same highlights to create a short video where you talk about them instead of write them out? So back to knowing your platforms, don't forget to study up on nuances and quirks of different medium. For instance, Facebook Reels gets more reach than Facebook videos, but you'll want to avoid formatting issues by using a short and powerful headline for Reels. And remember that linking out on social could depress your organic reach. So what does that mean for you? Save linking out for the paid ads you do on the social platforms when you're putting money behind the post to prevent those numbers from dropping. Speaking of paid ads, let's talk about how you can get the most out of it. Some of the biggest retailers are creating ad networks with their first-party data. It's equally as beneficial for the rest of us to focus on it. Why? Well, having your own data set has a lot of advantages. Better targeting means it's more personalized and effective, and you don't have to worry about running into trouble with data regulations. like in our very first slide. It's also a really effective base for advertising. Retargeting and lookalike or similar audiences give us some of the best bases to work from because you're targeting people who have already shown they're interested. In fact, the biggest publishers are already working on building up their own audiences based on retargeting their email subscribers and website visitors with ads about new books they think those readers will like.
Ingram is looking for first-party data as well. Over the past 4 years, we've built a consumer audience that currently totals more than 3 million users and millions more website visitors. And we've been doing so while navigating all of the challenges we've been talking about. When we talk about what's happening, it isn't theoretical for us. We know it can be tricky. Where does our audience come from? Well, we have websites and newsletters specifically created for our readers. Bookfinity is a book discovery site. I encourage you to check it out. It offers a quiz to find out which of the 20 reader types you are, and then offers you custom book recommendations and content. Shelf Savvy is our deal site and newsletter that includes print and audio titles beyond just ebooks. Page and Pairing is a curated newsletter that's now a great book club that pairs food and beverage offerings with titles, as well as an online book club offering. Little Infinite is one of the largest poetry lifestyle sites on the internet. Join us. Between those brands and some partner sites we work with, you can see we've created a massive audience. We said you need to offer people value in your outreach, and that's what we've done. Our sites only work if their users are getting content and interactions they want. Only by giving consumers the kind of content they want can we continue giving the kind of information publishers can use. It has to be valuable to both partners' exchange of information for this to really work. We call our first-party audiences verified readers because we know they like books and we know what kind of books they like. A good example of this is True Crime Reader. You can advertise on your own to a true crime audience on Facebook, even to a true crime audience of readers. But what you're getting are people who like to read and like true crime, which could very well look like someone who reads romance and listens to a serial podcast. Our first party audience for true crime, also on Facebook, by the way, is someone we know is reading true crime books. And we know this because of how they're interacting with all of that great content we're providing them. Why are we telling you about our first party audiences? Because you can use them too. You can access Ingram's first party audiences through Ingram ID. It's free to create an account, only the cost of your ads. You can target our audiences on Facebook and Google Display, plus get smart keyword recommendations if you want to advertise on Google Search and access to advertising on Ingram's websites and newsletters. We have over 59 audiences currently, and we're adding more each month. And we're always open to recommendations. It's a low-risk way to find out first-party audiences specific to books and an easy way to expand your marketing toolkit. Ingram ID is an advertising network built for readers. And so we want you to remember that it's built from first-party data. Verified reader audiences are 100% book specific. The keyword recommendations based on book metadata, access to Facebook and Google advertising, plus advertising through Ingram's websites and newsletters. So audiences span formats and price points, so keep that in mind. Using Ingram ID, you will market your titles across social and retail websites from one integrated platform offered exclusively by Ingram. Ingram ID is a self-serve advertising platform. So there's no contract, there's no invoicing, and no set spends. Set up for credit card payment, the tool lets you set your own budget and calendar. There are no unwelcome surprises for your budget here. Easily manage the spend for all of your ads in one place. You figure out what that budget needs to be. Now, because it's verified reader audiences, Ingram costs you less to reach more people. This reporting allows you to view in real-time reporting for each campaign clicks and impressions. So how does Ingram compare across industry averages. The average click-through rate for a Facebook ad in Ingram ID is 4 times better, and the average cost per click for a Facebook ad is 78% cheaper in Ingram ID. That's mainly because you are now reaching that specific audience. Average ID, I wanted you to know that the average click-through rate for Facebook and Ingram ID is about 4.6% outside of ID and 0.9% outside of ID. Average CPC, Facebook and Facebook Ingram ID is 40 cents. Outside of Ingram ID, it's $1.86. So we want you to keep that in mind as you see what we're offering you and how it can be of benefit for you in the future. We wanted to make sure that you got a way to take a look at what the platform looks like and how easy it is to use. So take a look as we share with you the inside of a platform and an example of what it's like to actually place an ad inside of our platform. I'm going to show you a short video to walk you through. We are going to place a Facebook ad. So this shows you where we are when we start. It kind of gives you the start from the home page. You'll see that I have recent drafts saved from ads that I've placed before. But when we go in, we're going to create a campaign. We can do that from the left rail, or we can do that right there by clicking the blue button that says Create Campaign. I've decided that I'm going to name my campaign August, and it's going to be an August test. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to search my database for a title. I've decided that I want to feature an ad about a book that is named Marriage Be Hard. I'm going to search for that, and then I'm going to make sure that I find the right format that I'm looking for. And there it is. I'm going to click and add it. It's going to go green when I've committed to it. You will see that it walks me through. So the title is there. And then it's asked me what audience I think is best. And because I know my audience and I know that this is a book that's based on someone's life and their marriage, I've chose biography, celebrity biography, and then I'm going to go down to self-help because it's marriage and it's supposed to help them direct through marriage. So those are the 3 audiences I thought would be best. So you see me scrolling through and choosing health, psychology, and self-help. Now I get the option to decide which of the readers I want to reach where. And I've decided that I'm going to do Facebook and Facebook promoted ad. And now I'm going to set up. And as I go, it kind of reiterates what my audiences were. And then we're going to go through, and I'm already connected through Facebook, through the Bookfinity. It just really shows me that Bookfinity will be a brand that is featured. This is where I get to put in my own text. I get to decide what the text is. I'm having a hard time committing to it. It's hard to remember what it should be. So you see me struggling back and forth. But Marriage Be Hard is the primary text I've decided to use. It allows me to edit and add an image. And so I just clicked it to show the cover. And I'm going to edit based on the sizing that the ads allow me to have. And so you'll see me edit a little bit through here. And now the ad cover, if you look on the right rail, is dynamic. So as we change, so does that ad on the right rail. I'm saving that image as we go. And then I've decided that I want this ad to go to his actual direct website because they were on tour with this book. And so we wanted people to go and choose the book, the tour tickets because that came with the book. I clearly have decided that I may have not done this actual website link right. So I had to go back and edit that. And you can see as I make mistakes, that red font tells me that there's something missing and something isn't going well. So I had to go back when I realized that I dropped that link in, but it didn't link correctly. So I went back, tried to fix it again. You see me just making mistakes. And as I go, those mistakes you can see them as we go, and you'll see me correct them. And you'll see once I get it right, what that red font will go away because that's what we're going for. The next is a headline. I just added the headline that was there. As you can see, that red font showed up again because I have too many words. So I had to shorten that. And you'll see that I copied and pasted that metadata and that content, and I'm editing it back to make sure it fits. I wanted them to buy now, and so I chose the call to action. You will see me now decide when I want the ad to start. Now, these dates are in the past, but it will always move you forward. 4 days will be the earliest that you can place an ad, just because that's what it takes for the ad to be approved on the platform. As you can see, I'm choosing the dates, the schedule was there, and all of that summary appears on the right rail. So it tells me what it's going to cost. You'll be able to see the actual ad. And I'm editing what I'm just going through to make sure it's all there, and the edits and all what that ad looks like on the right rail. And then you'll see the summary of what I've committed to, the start date, the call to action, how much the ad is going to cost me. And then here I am at the final pot that's $700 based on the days and the amount of this suggested buy. And this is where you would close out to place your you would pay for your ad, and then you would submit it. We thank you so much. We want you to get started today. You can set up your account here at id.ingramcontent.com/register. Be sure to know that you use promo code TAKE15 and get $15 off your first ad campaign. And so be aware that the promo code is case sensitive and good for a one-time use between September 18th and October 18th of 2023. We hope that you've enjoyed the content, that you take time to look in the platform and make use of what we have for you to be successful in your book journey.